都唔識講哪啲廿解，你啲叫做解佬鴨。
个你那个到天个呢，你表现呢，你们觉得七七八八的写上发音的改法都冇就是的。
I'm Hans Ray, a professional mountain biker, a former world champion, a pioneer of freeride and founder of the charity Wheels for Life. My urban mountain bike adventure series combines riding in some of the biggest cities in the world that are surrounded by beautiful nature and trails. It's all about the contrast between nature and harmony, chaos and urban jungles. After Trans Angeles and Trans Napoli, TransHongKong was the perfect adventure to tackle next. Come join me and explore with me Hong Kong over the next 5 days. Alright, today is day 1 of the TransHongKong urban adventure. I'm here in the new territories in the north of Hong Kong with Tiger So. He's a local rider and he's gonna join me today on the first day, and the rest of the week I'll be joined by some other local riders and by the one and only Martin Maes.
Very happy ride with you today. When I was young, I seen your medic video, Monkey See, Monkey Do.
Oh yeah? Nice.
Yeah, it's super fun, and then I ride a trail bike, mountain bike.
That's how you got started, watching my old videos.
Yeah.
Nice. The new territories have lots of purpose-built mountain bike trails, nice forests and beautiful nature to escape the overcrowded city. This district is situated north of Kowloon and close to the Chinese border. Gentrification is everywhere. When you consider that Hong Kong isn't that big and yet over 7 million people live here, when it comes to housing, the only way to expand is up north. The new territories see many new towns and developments pop up. Thankfully, a lot of green space was left alone, which we are enjoying today. What a bad start to our TransHongKong. Very beautiful, purpose-built mountain bike trails. Woo.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots right.
This is like one of the best trails here.
Best trail. Many best trail here.
Yeah? Next we're gonna ride Tin Man. Is that a good trail?
Yeah. Man, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very good. You want to ride?
Yeah? Hey, 1, 2. Yeah! Tiger is coming through!
When it rains, it pours. Water's up to my chin. Won't stop fighting to the very end. Many men tried to reach it. Many men have failed. But if you wanna get to heaven, you gotta raise a little hell. And I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
Alright, there's Hong Kong! Woo! We made it! Thanks so much, man. That was awesome.
Fun in Hong Kong tomorrow?
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Urban jungle.
Will you find me? Hope you find me. I'll be back home soon. 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 I'll be back home soon when the sunrise, when the sun.
Today I was joined by Martin Maes, one of the fastest enduro and downhill mountain bike racers in the world. We will traverse the streets and neighborhoods of Kowloon. An exhausting and treacherous near vertical hike along a narrow spine to reach the point, especially with a bike on your back. Along the way we met plenty of really friendly, chatty locals, tourists and expats alike, all dumbfounded to witness us on bikes. This is one of the highest points in Kowloon with unparalleled, stunning, breathtaking views of the city below. From here you can get a little perspective of the diversity of Hong Kong, from the quite lush islands to the chaos of downtown Kowloon to the dingy, rundown tenement buildings on top of each other in the new territories to the mirrored monolithic skyscrapers. Possibly the #1 spot for selfie-obsessed people who pose, it was amazing how many millennials stood on the edge taking pictures of themselves and each other over and over again, clearly a serious pastime for the Instagram generation. We descended into Kowloon riding trails, bombing our way through the streets, dodging the crowds of people, all the way to the waterfront. Discovering good local food is always part of my trips. As we cycled through a mini mall, we found a bakery tucked away, the shelves bursting with delicious looking things. This made Martin smile. He can sure eat. The northern end was more like the traditional Kowloon. Narrow streets clogged with markets, neon signs, advertising things we could not understand. We dodged the crowds and the traffic, taking in the strange scent and sounds. The noise is intense and never ceases. We visited an apartment building built as a perfect hollow square, which created an inner quad. The floors rose up high, making the space dark and unattractive. We were puzzled by the multiple groups of women with children clustered together, seated on the hard concrete floor. Turns out they were domestic helpers from the apartments above taking their break. The apartments are tiny and would often house 3 generations or multiple families. There would be no communal space in those homes, not even enough room for every family member to sleep at the same time. Now Kowloon gives Central a run for its money. The old airport has been moved away to the new location. The harbour and the seafront have been transformed with glitzy buildings rising tall and bright, mirroring the reflections of the super yachts bobbing on the water.
It's probably the most impressive city I've ever seen in my life. So big.
Here the money is moving in. Banks, insurance companies, elegant shops and swanky hotels. The jewel in the crown has to be the Ritz-Carlton at the International Convention Center. This is the tallest building in Hong Kong, a city with 7,000 sky-skimming buildings and the highest amount of skyscrapers in the world.
Very, very busy Hong Kong.
After dinner we went outside and the scene was rather surreal. As we strolled home we were met with broken glass, evidence of smashed shop fronts, and the relentless cacophony of sirens shattering the night. The protests really ramped up while we were there. Demonstrations popped up randomly all over the place, something like a scene from a Ridley Scott movie. But this was no film, this was real and a little scary. We may be here at a time that sees Hong Kong change forever. Man, there's some big mountains in Lantau, isn't there?
Yeah, and some nice view. But let's check out the trails.
Alright, let's do this. Located to the southwest of Hong Kong Island, it is now home to the new Hong Kong International Airport. Lantau is also known as the home of Disneyland, and the local trail builders have practically created a Disneyland for mountain bikers. Today's ride was to explore these purpose-built trails and test the goods. Look at that! What do you got here?
Well, just have a spanking new contract
Good to
here.
see you
Good to
again,
see you
man.
again.
This is HM, this is Martin.
Hi, Martin.
HM is the main guy that built trails in Asia. He's from Singapore, but he built all the Hong Kong trails, and
Yeah,
he works
you're
for
right.
Dirt Traction, and he works for IMMA, and cool, man.
So glad to have you here.
Man,
You guys.
what do you got here all? This looks amazing.
It's a new bike park area, training ground area that we are doing. It's good 8 kilometers of trails here, pump tracks, skills area,
Wow.
some progressive lines and progressive cross-country trail for the new generation riders.
Yeah, we rode a couple of trails, and then we seen that amazing pub track in the middle of nowhere, and yeah, it's great to see you know, pump tracks here in Hong Kong, and you know, they're getting very popular, and you see them pretty much everywhere now. So yeah, it was awesome.
Many advocacy groups have worked in the areas around Hong Kong, including Lantau, to build more and more mountain biking trails. This area has incredible nature and views. The trails are world class, and it was definitely one of the best rides we got to do this week. At the end of the Chai Ma Wan Trail, we got to wash off the dust in the South Chinese Sea. During breakfast on day 4, we saw on TV that the protests were escalating, especially in central Hong Kong, where we were set to ride today. We'll have to be very careful and avoid the hotspots. We are about to meet Nick Dover, a local guide, to show us the way around Hong Kong Island. We are taking the train to our meeting point, but even though it was rush hour, the metro seemed rather deserted. Not a good sign.
Morning! Alright.
Morning. Hey, bud. Lance, how you doing? Good to see you. So, you ready to go explore Hong Kong?
Let's do it. Head over. Go.
Right, let's go.
On the famous Star Ferry across the bay, Nick explains to us that there's a special app that helps monitoring the protests and police activities, so we could stay out of trouble.
At the moment we're on Hong Kong Island, you can see a lot of activity here.
Oh, really? Right now?
Yeah, so let's try and avoid that and hopefully find a nice easy route up to the peak. We should be good.
Martin, try one of these.
Where's that?
I don't know.
try one. Wow, it's nice. Religion and health play a big part in Chinese culture. Tai Chi is seen practiced all over the place, in parks, on the promenade and green space. And of course, ancient Chinese medicine is legendary for its effectiveness. The streets and hills are dotted with temples, some tiny, not much more than an image or statue, and incense sticks. Others are huge and demonstrate their faith in vivid color and tradition. This might have something to do with why the residents of Hong Kong live long. The average age for women is 87 and men 82. And despite the fact that the city is so polluted, maybe their spirituality mixed in with the exercise does the trick for longevity. Victoria Peak is the highest hill on Hong Kong Island and has breathtaking views over the spectacular skyline and its busy streets below. We navigate our way from the peak through parks, staircases and remote alleys all the way to a neighborhood known as Soho in central Hong Kong. So what's going on here?
Okay, so we've just come into the thick of it. We just got into Central Business District. It seems along DeVoe Road west, there's some raptor force. A lot of possibly tear gas. There's debris on the road, so protesters have been through here.
Heavy police everywhere.
Heavy police presence, so we're going to try and avoid that section of town.
I think it's not very wise to go there and get mixed up because it's been getting quite serious. They are shooting rubber bullets, tear gas. They have the SWAT team in there. There's all kinds of rubbish and litter on the streets. People are running very quickly there. I think we need to get out of here right now. So look, people are running on the sidewalk.
Go up the bridge here.
Don't go there. Wait. Where?
Yeah, that's under the bridge.
Yeah, let's not go there. Just a couple of blocks away, life seems completely normal. People dine, shop and exercise like any other day. We finish our day watching the beautiful Symphony of Lights show on the skyscrapers and indulge in some typical local food. We're at Lama Island. We're just waiting for one of the locals to arrive to show us around. You must be Andy.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Andy, nice to meet you.
What's going on, man?
Good.
How you doing? Good. Thanks for coming out. You live here full time?
Yeah, I work in home. Let's go and ride. Okay.
Lama Island is the absolute opposite of Hong Kong. Quite laid back, a bit of a hippie vibe, lots of expats. There are no cars on the island, only bikes. People either ride or walk to get around. It was strange to see people disembarking the ferry at the end of the day in their city clothes and hopping on their bikes to head home to their island life. You can see why this island is so appealing. A 20-minute ferry ride and you can leave the chaos, noise and pollution of the mainland behind, kick back in the peace and quiet. Lama was one of the original mountain bike hotspots in the Hong Kong area. Since then there are many more riding areas. We got to sample some of these hand-built trails.
Is it alright if I stay today? Is it alright if I...
Alright Andy, thank you, that was good.
Martin, Andy, thanks Hans.
Another TransHongKong or?
In the book.
In the book.
Take my time, far behind, leave my pride. Oh, is it alright if I stay?
We finished TransHongKong with a beer and watched the sun melt into the South China Sea. The perfect ending to an unforgettable urban adventure.
Stay today. Is it alright? 'Cause I wish we could just stay. Take our time, far behind, leave our pride. Oh, is it alright if we stay? Is it alright if I decide but change my mind? Is that okay?
Looks like Starbucks has beefed up its security. Protests. Oh, you got a new sponsor, Carmen.
Is it alright if I waste my time and not lead myself to a mistake? When I roll on by, I won't ask why. I'll just accept and walk away.